Thinking of moving to Portland? Well, of course you are. That's why you're here.
No shit, Sherlock.
Got it, thanks. Good news is that I've got a ton of videos about living in Portland on this channel, but today I'm gonna tell you some things that most realtors are too much of a little to tell you about.
Take it easy, man.
No, things that are Portland specific, and some things apply pretty much anywhere you're moving to or from. So many people that reach out to me seem surprised to learn that Portland is one of the last affordable cities on the West Coast. So naturally, many people from more expensive cities are moving to Portland, not just for an upgrade to their wallet, but also an upgrade in quality of life too. I'm seeing many folks that are relocating to Portland from higher cost of living places such as Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, but also from many other places that are lower cost of living and also lower quality of life, I'd argue, such as Texas. And I don't blame them, honestly. And before you start crying in the comments about how Californians are ruining Oregon and blah, 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 I have 3 words for you. Deal with it. It's a beautiful part of the country, and there's a lot of good reasons why so many people like it here, so don't be surprised if more people keep moving here. I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty in a bit, but first, if you are thinking of making a move to the Portland area and you plan on buying a house here, make sure you reach out to me via call, text, email, or ideally just schedule a video call with me so that we can connect face-to-face. All my contact information is right down below this video. People like yourself are watching these videos and getting in touch with me from all over the world to have me help them move to Portland and buy that perfect home. And do I think it's weird? No, I absolutely love it, and I want you to reach out next. So do it. Do it now. I'll wait. I'm just kidding. The first thing you don't often hear real estate agents saying is buying a home isn't for everyone, at least not always. Of course, if you are in the market to buy a home, I would absolutely love to talk to you. That is what I do for a living, and it's something I take pride in, helping people find that perfect home and make the process of doing so as seamless and honestly as fun as possible. But the truth is, buying a home isn't for everyone, at least not always. For instance, if you're not planning to be somewhere for at least 4 or 5 years or more, it may not make a lot of sense to buy a home unless you plan to keep it as a long-term rental after you move away. Or for instance, another reason to not buy a house is, and this may seem obvious, but if you're broke. Buying and owning a home can of course be very expensive. Expensive in both the short term, because you've got to come up with a significant chunk of change as a down payment and closing costs usually, unless you're a veteran, but also expensive in the long term too when it comes to maintaining a home. I would say home ownership isn't for someone unless they have a well-established and lucrative career. If you're used to renting all your life, this is potentially going to be a bit shocking to you. Imagine a water line bursts somewhere in your house and there's water leaking behind the wall and you need to fix it ASAP. Who do you call? No, not your landlord. You call the plumber and you get your checkbook out. This may be stating the total obvious to some of you, but I feel like it still needs to be said, because if a real estate agent is always saying that it's always the right time to buy, renting is for chumps, regardless of your unique circumstances, well, that's a really self-serving way to do business. The other thing that many realtors might not tell you is that it can be difficult to buy a house in Portland. The fact of the matter, for the current situation right now in spring of 2024, that in all likelihood isn't going to change anytime soon, if anything it might get worse, is the fact that there are a lot more active buyers than there are available houses to satisfy the amount of demand. It's just supply and demand, people. So there's a fairly decent chance that if you see a house that just came onto the market and it seems like a good price and you are absolutely in love with it, that there are probably also 2, 4, 5, 10, 15, maybe even 20 others that feel the exact same way that you're gonna have to compete against. Now, over the years, I've learned through experience that there are ways to significantly increase my client's chance of actually winning that house of their dreams, rather than losing to everyone else that's clamoring to get it. I know how to communicate with the listing agent to understand what needs to happen to put my client in a position to win that house, but also I know how to communicate with my clients about what they need to do to have a shot at making a winning offer. So when you get in touch with me to be your agent, be prepared for me me to sometimes be brutally honest about things. Maybe I'll even tell you we should just move on, or maybe I'll tell you, hey, this house has been on the market for a bit longer than how long it took most of the neighbors to sell their houses. So I think you might have a little bit of negotiation leverage here if you love this house. Something else most realtors won't tell you is that they may not be the right fit for you. Most agents honestly are so desperate to work with literally anybody that they would never dare tell you something as important as, this is an important relationship and we need to vibe, yo. And if we don't, that's absolutely fine. There are about 19,000 real estate agents in the state of Oregon alone, and that number is growing year over year, so you need to find someone who can fit your needs and your vibe. And more importantly, someone who you actually see yourself hanging out with, going house hunting with. Someone who you trust is going to be a set of objective eyes when walking through any given home. You need someone that you can trust to guide you through a wildly emotional and complicated life decision with a level head and unbiased patience and expertise. Maybe even someone you'd want to grab a beer with, and most of all, someone who abides by their commitment to be your fiduciary. In other words, someone who puts your needs before their own needs or agenda. And ideally, someone you'd even like to have over for dinner and ice cream sundaes in celebration after you closed and moved into that new Portland home of yours. If it wasn't obvious, one of the many reasons I've spent so much time creating these videos, besides helping you understand to the best of my ability what it's like to live in Portland, is to give people like you an opportunity to decide in advance whether or not I'm the type of agent that's going to make sense for you and your situation and your unique personality. Do you appreciate my dry and sometimes painfully dumb sense of humor? Or do you need an agent that's a bit more boring? Point is that there are many agents out there that if you've decided you want to use an agent, who you choose to help you buy or sell a home matters in a very big way. I'd of course be grateful for the opportunity to earn your business and your trust, but I think it's more important that you use a real estate agent that you 100% want to be working with. I don't think this stuff I've said so far is necessarily Portland specific, because this advice applies regardless of whether you are moving to Portland or moving away from Portland to some other city. Like I said, not every agent will work for every client, and similarly, not every city or location will work for every person out there. Portland may not be for everyone. We've got a pretty unique city here that is looked down on by many, honestly, and for some reason that I don't fully understand, I get a lot, and I mean a disproportionate amount of negativity on this channel. So if you have something nice to say, I'd encourage you to say it down in the comments below. I'm looking at you, current clients. You know who you are. But truthfully, Portland is a pretty awesome place to live if you ask me, and I'd guess that probably most of the 3 million other people who choose to live here on their own free will would agree with me as well. Portland is the 19th largest metro area in the United States, so with that big of a city will come big city problems. If you live in America, you are well aware that there are over 500,000 homeless people in our country, and Portland is far from being exempt from that issue, and has one of the top 10 worst homeless rates per capita in the nation. Portland has an issue with drugs on the streets too, but you could sub out Portland for dozens of other cities in the last sentence, if not hundreds. If you only focus on that stuff about Portland, you are only focusing on the macro view of this place. And if you get down to the micro level, you will see that the city is oozing with character. You'll find a crew of locals here that makes this place feel different. Portlanders are the type of people who have a deeper level of appreciation for being in the moment and taking things at a pace that's different from the rest. There's an insane amount of incredible places to eat great food in every single neighborhood and nook and cranny of Portland, or places to sit down and drink great local beer, places you can be creative, see live music, appreciate art. There are places to have world-class coffee and places to build a community, and at the center of it all, you are living in a place that has an undeniable sense of beauty and nature all over. The way this city makes you feel connected to nature is a highly nuanced aspect of the city that you just need to feel in order to understand. We're talking about beautiful riverfront parks, parks with miles and miles of hiking trails, huge parks with scenic views of the city, all within Portland. And I get it, some people might not be radiating on the correct frequency to fully appreciate this kind of thing, but when you feel it, you know that this is a special place. Yeah, it rains a lot throughout the year, but from spring all the way to the end of fall, it is a genuinely lovely place to be. And even in the winter, you get some sunny days, believe it or or not. I want you to keep learning about the good and the bad and how special this city is if you're seriously considering a move here. So click this video right here that I filmed vlog style, out and about around Portland, telling you some honest pros and cons of the city. Thanks for watching this one, and we'll see you over there.